Hello, everybody. My name is Marissa Henderson, and today I'm going to do a demonstration for you regarding the change order process in Acumatica, as well as setting up a subcontract. Before we get started, I do want to give a little bit of a disclaimer. I want you to know that as I'm going through this demonstration, I'm going to be using common construction processes and terminology. So just keep that in mind. So just because you are not under that category of construction doesn't mean that Acumatica is not for you. We have a ton of customers who are not construction customers, and it works very, very well for their business. Okay. Just as a heads up, this is just how we designed this particular demo. All right, so let's look at creating a subcontract. So I'm starting here under the construction workspace, and I'm going to come here under my transactions category and hover over subcontracts and click the plus new button. And let's create a subcontract as well as a change order. So I'm here under the subcontract screen. In my summary section here, I'm going to fill out some details. So who is this subcontract for? I'm going to choose a vendor. So I'm going to choose Rapid Staff Services as my vendor, and we are going to do a subcontract for temp labor on the Jordan High School project. Now, once I have my summary section filled out, I'm going to come down here under details and click my plus sign. Here is where I can fill out a lot of details. So I can do a subcontract and pull in an inventory ID. Now, an inventory ID can be either a stock item or a non-stock item. So a stock item is things that I have within my organization that I sell to customers, physical items like wrenches or flooring or whatever the case may be. A non-stock item is a very flexible tool in the system. So I can actually put things like services that my organization offers or that I want to keep track of as far as billings are going out to different customers. So for example, I can actually create a non-stock item for temp labor for rapid staffing services because we have an agreed upon price list. I can add those pricings in the system and use that non-stock item in my Acumatica instance. I can use it for a lot of different features, like even putting in time in the system. I can set up a actual labor item, attach it to my time card for an employee so they don't have to manually enter their costs. Someone doesn't have to manually say this project manager is this amount of money for every hour that they work. I can attach it to a non-stock item. It will be pulled into the time feature in Acumatica, and it's already set up for me. So it's a nice little way to use a non-stock item across different modules. It takes a lot of data entry out too. Today, we're not going to use a non-stock item. We're just going to physically put in an amount. So I'm going to give it a project. So this is temp labor to Jordan High School. So let's pull in the Jordan High School project. And my project task, I'm going to choose a task. I'm going to say it's for division number 3. And then I'm going to pull in a cost code. I'm going to pull in my cost code there and my line description. So I can have this different, but I'm just going to keep it the same as my header here. And now I'm going to pull in a unit of measure. Now, if you pull in a unit of measure, you have to also enter in your order quantity and unit cost, which will give you your extended cost, the total amount of this particular line. You don't have to use these 3. You can bypass those 3 and just put in an amount, but I'm going to do per hour and maybe 600 hours at 25 an hour, and it'll give me my extended costs. Once I'm finished, I'm going to hit save. I'm going to remove my hold, and now my status is open. An open status for a subcontract means that I can go forward and billing against it. So let's bill against it. So I can go here and click enter AP bill. This is going to automatically take me to my payables workspace. You can see it highlighted here, and to the bills and adjustment screen and fill out all of that information for me. If I scroll on over to the right, I can see it is attached to the subcontract. So what that means is as I'm receiving AP bills for rapid staffing services, I want to make sure that it's going against my subcontract. I can tell it's doing that here. And then I will be allowed to just keep going, right? I can get as many invoices as I can until this 15,000 plus runs out. Now, the only thing it's not going to fill out is your vendor reference number. Your vendor reference number is your actual AP bill number, your invoice number. So let's put it in here. So let's do an invoice number. And I am not going to bill the whole subcontract. We didn't get a bill for 600 hours. We got a bill actually for, let's say, 80 hours. and I can give it to a specific person. So it's temp labor on this job for Clinton Jones and click save. I'm going to remove my hold and release it. Now, my bill is now in the open status. So what that means is it's available for payment. So according to the terms I have listed here, it's going to show up in the next check run when I'm ready to pay it. Now I can navigate right back to my subcontract by clicking on the subcontract number, and it'll show me the details of my subcontract. So I still have my subcontract listed here, and I can see I have a new unbilled amount. So I have some bills against it. I can also go under billing and see that I have one bill. This is the reference number, and we can see that listed here. The date, as well as what was billed and how much it was billed. Now, once you get a ton of different invoices in here, you're going to see the total down here is very helpful to see the total billed quantity and the total billed amount right here. All right, so I'm in the system, I have my subcontract, but maybe in the next invoice, we're billing a lot more than we have a subcontract for. So I want to go in and do a change order. So let's do that. Let's come back here to construction. Under my transactions category, I'm going to hover over change orders, and I'm going to click the plus new. So let's put in a new change order for this subcontract. Now, keep in mind, we created a subcontract and we've attached it to a project in Acumatica. Now, you can have a change order as external. You can have a change order as internal. An external change order means it's going to affect my revenue as well as my cost. I need to update my cost budget as well as my schedule of values. You can have an internal change order where it's not going to affect my schedule of values. I cannot ask for more money from the customer, but we have to pay for a change and we want to account for that cost for estimating purposes on future jobs, right? So for today, we're going to do an external change order because we want to put in a change order to affect our commitment, which is our subcontract. We need to increase the costs. We want to capture it on our cost budget, but the owner is also going to pay for it. So in one screen, we are going to be able to update our subcontract, our costs, as well as our revenue budgets in one screen. It's awesome. All right, so let's do it under our project. So let's pull in our project, Jordan High School project. It automatically brings over the customer that is attached to the project. And I'm going to give it a description. So I'm going to say we're going to do a subcontractor change order for the Jordan High School project for the temp labor. Now, let's start here under commitments. So under commitments, I can click this plus sign and enter in the details of my commitment, but I can also click select commitments. This is going to show me all of the commitments that I have for this particular project. Okay, so I'm going to pull in the one that we just created and click add lines and close. It's going to show the details listed down here of what I have. So I can see my status is update. It is updating the status. It is giving me a new dollar value. It's already attached my project task as well as my cost code and the description. And then I have here my commitment number. So I also have that as a hyperlink if I have any questions and want to see the details without leaving my screen. So I can see all of this listed here. So all I have to do is come in and update the amount. So I can come here and update the quantity. Maybe we want to put 100 more in here and it will update the amount. I don't have to put quantity. I can just put a physical dollar amount if I want to. And then in the summary section, I'm going to see my commitment change order listed here. Next, let's update our budget line. So I can do the same thing and click the plus sign and manually do that. However, why not just click select budget lines and pull it all in? So let's do that. So let's use our project task and our cost code, add lines and close, and let the system do it for us. And we're going to do the same thing. So we want to update the actual amount that we want to put in the system. So let's do 100. And the rate, if I forget my rate, I can come back here, 25.25, and pull that in. All right. So the reason you don't see the rate here is maybe I am increasing the contract for the commitment and it's not the same amount as my cost budget. So you have that flexibility to do that. Okay. So I have that there. That's our actual cost that we want to put in the system. But now we want to update our revenue budget line. So let's do the same thing. Select budget lines, pull this in. And let's say we're going to do this as 100, but our unit rate on the revenue budget is $65, right? We want to make a little money on the project. So I have my commitment amount, 2525, which is going to match my cost budget amount, 2525, but then my revenue amount is $6,500. Going to make a little money off this project. So let's save it, remove our hold. It's in the pending approval status. I can see who my approver is by clicking on approvers, and I can see it's Maxwell Baker, which is who I am signed in the system as. Click approve, and now it's in the open status. So I just want to release it. Once I release it, it is going to update all three of these. It is going to increase the amount of my subcontract. It is going to add to my cost budget and add to my revenue budget. So let's take a look. So I can click on this little pencil to the right of projects, and let's look at all three of those. So let's look at our commitment. So I can come here to commitments, and I can see I have a subcontract that I put in the system. It's in the open status, and I can immediately go there from this screen. My subcontract has increased. It's increased right here, and now I have a new unbilled amount. I can also click on change orders and see the exact change order. I can even expand my screen, scroll on over, and I could see my change order amount was for 2525. That is how much my contract increased. Okay. I can close that out, and I can also come here to my cost budget. So let's look for our line. So here's our line item here. We have our revised budget amount is 7525, but our original amount was $5,000. If I look here under budgeted change order amount, I will see that 2525 listed here. Okay. I also see my committed change order amount. So I have my subcontract change order amount here, as well as my budget for my cost side. Now, if I click on my revenue budget, I'm going to see the exact same thing. On this line, I have it budgeted out originally as $325,000, excuse me, for the $65 per hour. And I have my budgeted change order quantity as 100. And here's my budgeted change order amount, $6,500. So just as a recap, in one fell swoop, we created a change order in one screen to affect our commitment, our cost budget, as well as our schedule of values after putting in one subcontract. All right. Thank you guys so much for joining me today. If you have any questions, or if you'd like to see a live demonstration, please reach out to your strategies group sales consultant, and they'll be able to get with you and set that up. Thank you so much, and have a great day.